Hello everybody, Gisele Grenier here. So I got a message, I did a little video of a soft diffused background. Let me just grab it here. Oh, like this one here. And I got a message that from the website, artplace.ca, that they would like to see a version of this we're using blues, but to make the blues like really strong, and instead of just using gold, to use something that's even more intense. So I thought maybe it was because of, Christmas holidays and that, but we're into January now, so I'm not quite sure. I'm just going to take, perhaps the problem with the email is that you can't really get the context of what they're saying if they're not clear. And so I appreciate all the emails you guys are sending me with okay, where's my paper? Like, we're talking questions upon questions upon questions upon questions. What I am is the ones where people are putting their names in the email but want to remain anonymous. I just hand write them in so to protect your privacy, so you don't need to worry about that. So I'm hoping that I'm going to understand that email correctly with what you're looking for. So I'm going to be using the cooler colors on the palette. So Hansa Yellow Light, Phthalo Green Blue, Phthalo Blue, and then Transparent Red Iron Oxide. I'm still not sure about this one. So why didn't I choose Ultramarine Blue or Phthalo Green Yellow or whatever? I wanted the blues that were more on the green side. So Phthalo Blue is a blue that leans towards green. Phthalo Green Blue is a green that leans towards blue. And Hansa Yellow Light is a yellow that leans towards green. So you can tell that these colors go really well together. For the outside edge, I was thinking about just using burnt umber or burnt sienna, but those are opaque colors. I want something transparent. I'm going to try with Transparent Red Iron Oxide, see how that goes. Then when that overlays between these two, you get like a real rich chromatic black with these two. Then I'm going to overlap it with this Dazzling Metallics Ice Blue, and it's like super, super strong. So I'm hoping it's going to do what I want it to do. And then I've got a little stencil here. What I want to do with the stencil, I wanted to try something. I'm going to put the initial layer down of the yellow. Then I'm going to stencil another layer of yellow. Then I'm going to I'm going to lay the color down, then do the stencil with something a little bit darker, then lay more color, just to see if we can get this as a bit of a background. This is... what's the name of the stencil? It's the Deco Art, it's called Scribble. It's really, really cute. So we'll do that. And so we have to gesso first, because this is food packaging. And I'm going to do it this time with my number 8 Bristle Bright. I'm going to push that gesso in there. If you were working on... Oh God, these brushes are shedding. I hate it. These brushes shed. If you were working with, on the product packaging that's the shiny side, what you may want to do first is just scuff it up a little bit with some sandpaper. If you don't have sandpaper, then just straight gesso, but just a couple of layers, and make sure it cures. Follow the directions on the container. Usually 24 hours is how long you need to let it cure. And you want to make sure that, oh my God, there's another hair. You want to make sure that you have it completely covered in gesso, because we're going to be doing so much rubbing. If it's not protected, you're actually going to lift up the paper. There we go. I get those frickin'... Oh no, I still need that. Stupid little hairs. Alrighty, Hansa Yellow Light. I'm going to try to put on even less on, but I hate wasting paint. There we go. Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. I'm really not sure about that one. We're going to have to see. And then I might as well put the Ice Blue out now. Oh my God, this will be the last project I do for the day because my hands are killing me. Oh, that's a beautiful color. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to start with the yellow, like before. Yeah, that's dry. And we're going to paint the entire card. Swirly, swirly, swirly. Loading it once is usually enough. And if this card turns out the way I think it's going to turn out, I already know what piece I'm going to do on this. All right. So load it right on. Oh, tool bit, tool bit, tool bit. Any more? This gesso is just getting at the perfect consistency. Look how thick that is. I'm purposely drying this out to get a really, really, really thick gesso. Okay, don't do as I do, doing this over the art piece. That's just dumb. It's just dumb. Okay, same brush. Go right into that. Don't clean it off. Don't do anything. Just go into the middle. Now we're just softening things up, round and round and round. Ideally, if the background is still a little bit tacky, that works well. But I want to do something a little bit different with this one. I want to stencil something in there to see how it's going to turn out. Okay, so now I'm going to dry this with a brush hair. Okay, so I'm going to, let's get right there. So I'm going to stencil this now with pure white. Come on. You could take a pencil and just do that as well. And on this one here, I don't care if the paint leaks underneath, doesn't matter. I'm just more testing an experiment, doing an experiment to see how the layers are going to look. Because these paints are typically more transparent, I want to see what it's going to look like. So I don't really care if the paint leaks through. And if you do care, you don't want it to leak through, then just work a lot slower. And I'm also not removing any of the paint that I'm putting on. I'm putting it on pretty thickly. So I'm using gesso, and I can still see, even though I'm using gesso, I can still see that the finish is turning a little bit more yellow. Yes, I love that. Okay, so while that dries, just wipe this down. Oh my goodness. I forgot to get my container of water to put the stencil in, so I didn't have to clean it right away. I am so abusive to my stencils, and it's not right, because it's... should respect the art supplies. I don't. Okay, have another frickin' brush hair here. Oh, I gotta watch my language. I'm getting bad for that. Come on. Really? You know what? This isn't a brush hair. I don't know how that's possible, but I think it's a sign. It's a chaos hair. So either I'm a lousy housekeeper or she's shedding from Rainbow Bridge. So I want to show you, I'm going to try this, and I want to show you why I did it the way I did it. So a lot of you have said to me that you don't have modeling paste, but you like the technique. By drying out the gesso, I'm going to still probably go another 4 or 5 layers to dry it out even more. You guys can, oh, look at that. Look how thick that is. It's almost like modeling paste going through there. You see that? I could have taken the actual palette knife. Actually, that's going to be something to try. I could have done with the palette knife. But to do the next step now, you got to make sure that's dry. Otherwise, it's just going to blend in with everything. So that's that. So now I'm going to... Oh, I have to clean my brush. I don't want any white in the next step, because it's going to make it opaque. All right, so now I'm going to go... Oh, you know what happens when we use phthalo green and phthalo blue? Oh my God. You know what happens, right? And I'm wearing a very, very, very light top. Oh, that's going to be way too strong. Holy crap. That is going to be way, way, way too strong. But I'm going to try it. Holy smokies, that's really strong. Okay, well, the lady that had sent me the question before, but where she wanted something soft and diffused, but really intense, this video is for you. Oh, this is really strong. I didn't want to add white to it, but that would be an experiment to try. Is okay, what happens if you just take the phthalo green, blue, and just add white to it to create something lighter? As I'm almost running out of paint, I'm just going to go just into the piece a little bit more. That is really neat. Now, I don't know about you. On here, it just looks like green and yellow, but on camera, it looks like a neon color. Okay, where? Here. Whoops. Now I'm using the number 8 Bristle Bright. It's easier with the actual stencil brushes, the domed brushes I was using, but they're drying, so it's not going to work. This is beautiful, though. See what's happening? See the lettering, how it's turning blue? I'm not using any blue. That is wow. Did I touch the blue? Nope. This is bizarre. This is blue. It's not green, it's blue. Can you guys see that? I don't think you can see how blue it is. That is bizarre. I'm still using green. I didn't touch any of the blue. Nope. All right, so now I'm going to go into the blue. Oh, did I touch, is there a blue? Nope, I thought maybe I touched the blue from another color. This is really pretty. Just lightly touching over where the stencil is. And it's just, the gesso is just grabbing the paint. It's grabbing the paint. I love that. Wow. I think I'm going to actually cut down that brush a little bit more. Round and round and round. This is, I'd like to say this is tedious. Oh, look at that effect. I find this so bloody relaxing. Well, not doing it on camera, but because I'm watching the monitor to make sure I don't go off camera. Now that's interesting. So look at this. And it's really faded out here. So I have a funny feeling, yeah, I must have held the card here and flattened out the gesso. That's beautiful. I wonder if I can hit that metallic blue on that. If it'll stay. I don't know. Because it has to be dry. I was really unsure about the strength of the phthalo blue because it's like the phthalo colors because they're so strong. This is actually really nice. I'm loving how it's grabbing, the gesso's grabbing it. It's still on the green. What? That's a little bit deeper. So now, you know what? I put a lot on my brush. Now I'm going to ruin it. Oh, there we go. Oh, just be careful. Just grabbing. But what's nice about it, I'm sorry I'm taking time to really analyze this, but now what I really like about it, because the gesso is so rough, it looks grungy. Love that. I really like that. But to do something soft like this, you gotta take your time, because if you go too fast, you're going to put too much paint on there. It's not as strong as I want it to be though. See? See? Too much. To be even stronger with the blue. Look at that. So I'm kind of playing dumb for the last few minutes and oh, it's not going as intense, it's not going as intense. Can you guys, I've given you enough clues, can you guys figure out why the phthalo blue isn't darkening up on the actual paper? I've done this long enough. I'm hoping you're going to be able to figure it out. I am going to give you the answer, but I'm going to wait a bit. Why don't you think the paper is getting really deep? Oh, that is flippin' awesome. I'm just going to bring that up a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to now put that brush in the water and get a small brush. Oh, but I only have that. Okay, and the transparent red iron oxide. Oh my God, my nerves are shot in my arms. Oh! I don't know if I want to. Yeah, I don't know about this one. Not really a fan. I love transparent red iron oxide, but not for this. I'm not a fan of it for this. It's not bad. It's not bad, but it's not great. It's gonna go on the side. Okay, have you guys figured out why the card wasn't going as deep as I was hoping? Because the gesso is higher up on the card. It's catching all the paint on the brush, and little of the paint is going on the paper. It's happening here too. Watch as I'm doing this. The actual gesso is grabbing the paint. Even though I've cut this, like pulled out that sponge to try to get all those peaks and valleys. That's why areas where there's not a lot of the gesso, the canvas is getting darker. That's why it's darker here, because this is more flat. Let's do it slow. Okay, yeah, not a huge fan of the transparent red iron oxide on this. Can you guys figure out why? Like I planned that, eh? Let me know why you think that I'm not really enjoying the transparent red iron oxide. It's not really that I'm not enjoying it, but why? That's okay. Let me. Yeah, it's a trick question. Let me word it differently. Why is that maybe not the best choice of color? That's a better way of putting it. The sponge is falling apart. Wow, I like that. You know what? Let's go right in. I don't want to, I don't want to do it. Let me see if I can just use that same brush. I don't want to, I have to clean another brush. Cleaning brushes, when they have the phthalo, yay. Having to clean the brushes when they have the phthalo colors, ugh. It's a bugger. Transparent red iron oxide probably wasn't the best choice because the card is primarily green. Green and red, opposite on the color wheel. Just want to stain that a little bit. Now the beauty of, because there's so many layers on there, I can wipe back some of that transparent red iron oxide. There we go. What I want to try doing now is using that metallic blue to see if it'll grab. Let me just get the edges. Yeah, this is much better. But I'm going to dry it first. Slow down. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Happy accident. Okay, how can I replicate that? Oh, you guys are probably fed up with me changing my mind all the time. Oh, look at that. Okay, let me get a bit more blue on here. I was going too fast, and some metallic paint went on the front side, and now in using the baby wipe, oh, it just puts a shimmer. It just put a shimmer. It looks like a haunted house with, you have a gate and that is cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right, let me dry that. That is really neat. I'm going to try going back in with the phthalo green. Let me dry paper towel. Oh, this is really grungy, grungy, grungy. I love this. So the dirty brush had the metallic paint on it, and I just loaded it with a little bit of phthalo green. Look at that. Now, on the camera, this looks like a neon color. It's not neon. It's a real vintagey green. That's weird. Now I'm going to go back to the metallic. And let's see if I can do this right. Just want to just lightly touch the edge. Yeah, it's working. I just have to pick up a bit more though. And use the lightest touch. So the raised gesso is grabbing the metallic paint. That part maybe not so much because it looks a little bit flatter. So now would be another experiment would be to use gesso through a palette knife to do this. I'm going to do that next. Joe's waiting for supper. That is cool. Now let me just run that in the flat part of the cosmetic sponge. Get that nice edge. There we go. I don't know if that's too light. I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to take a picture, and I'll put it on the cover of the video, so you'll see what it actually looks like. Because in the camera, it looks really, really bright. I should actually take a picture with my phone so you guys can see what the heck I'm talking about. Let me do that. Okay. That's what it looks like. It's not that color. It's not that color. I got paint all over my phone. Ooh, boy, I think I'm going to be in trouble with that. Yeah. My brand new phone. But so what do you think, you guys? What do you think of that happy accident with the metallics? That is really cool. That is really neat. All right, so I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave this, and then the next one I'm going to do with the experiment is taking the gesso with the palette knife and push it through a different stencil. And maybe I'll use vintage colors this time. So I'll use a transparent red iron oxide, transparent yellow iron oxide, quinacridone burnt orange, and probably a raw umber. Alrighty, so if you're watching this on YouTube and you've done a variation of this, click the link below to the Facebook group. Post a picture in there. If you're watching this in my Facebook group, yay. I hope to see your variations of this, your experimentations. If you don't have a stencil that you can practice with, what can you use instead of a stencil to get this type of effect? So that's your pop quiz for the project, and let me know. Multiple pop quizzes. What else can you use to get this effect, to get that texture, instead of using a stencil with gesso? All right, so I'm going to leave you with that, and I'm going to clean up my mess, go feed the hubby, and until I see you next time, stay inspired.